Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Full Potential Show. I'm James Rick, and this is your number one non-boring source for personal development. Today on the line and early is Early Jackson. Early is a life coach, a social activist, and an author and a speaker. Early, thank you so much for being on the Full Potential Show today. Well, Early, let's talk a bit about your background. First of all, I understand that you started out a little bit, rough in life. You overcame a drug addiction, and I'd like to understand more about that journey that you took to get from that kind of situation to where you are today. Let's go back. How many years ago was that, and how did you get there?
Wow. Well, James, I am 39. I started dabbling and kind of experimenting with drugs when I was about 14, 15. Grew up in a really bad neighborhood. Kind of a normal story for, someone on that side of the tracks or whatever. And about 14, 15, I really started experimenting with different kinds of drugs, cocaine, marijuana, things like that, drinking.
So you were a young chemist.
Yes, absolutely. And fortunately, the environment that I was in was very conducive to that type of lifestyle. So I got involved in it, ended up joining the military at 19. And at about 23, I realized that there had to be a change in my life because I was going downhill quick.
What was the moment? Because sometimes, when we make these realizations, there's a moment. What was the moment that made you go, I am going downhill quick? Kind of describe what it was like at that moment. You said, I got to make a shift.
Oh, absolutely. I can give you the date. It was December the 17th, 1993. And I had hit rock bottom. I had about $10 in my pocket, and I was on my way to Philadelphia from Virginia Beach to kind of stay with my sister because I had gotten put out of my apartment. And just riding that bus up here to Philadelphia, I realized, man, something's got to change. This is not, I don't want to be here in 20 years. You know what I'm saying?
I totally know. So not that I was there, but I can imagine. So that was the moment, and then what did you start doing when you made that shift in your mind? This is rock bottom. I got to start making changes. What did you start doing?
Well, one of the first things that happened was my philosophy that I lived. I kind of lived the philosophy of life that you only live once, spend it all now. Tomorrow's not promised. And coming up to Philadelphia and spending some time with my older sister and her husband, I kind of got an introduction to a different philosophy or a paradigm shift that I had to realize that, you have to leave a legacy every day of your life because what you do today is obvious, is ultimately going to catch up with you 10, 20 years from down the line. And I realized that life has this cyclical process of seed time and harvest. If you want corn next year, you have to plant corn this year. And just those simple principles, just really got in me and started, propelling me to a different direction.
So you went from this short-term focus of eating your seeds, so to speak,
exactly.
to realizing that you need to plant them for a better long-term harvest. So that short-term thinking went to a long-term thinking.
Absolutely. At 23, James, I actually had a repossession on my credit. My credit was horrible. My health was poor because I was partying. And I realized that I'm not going to last too much longer like this. I'm going to be a poor father. I'm going to be a poor husband to somebody. I need to make some changes now.
So Early Jackson, he was early in life. His message is about preparation. It's something you said, I don't know where I saw it, but and you know what? I got all these windows up now. I can't even find it. But you said your motto in a nutshell is that in order to reach full status and basically to reach full potential in your life, you've got to be prepared and you've got to discipline. I mean, you've got to be able to say no to certain things that, and I'm, obviously it was shorter than this, but I mean, ultimately you're saying that preparation is the key and preparing yourself, preparing your character. You may only be on stage, whatever that stage of life may be for a short time. And all along the way, you're preparing for that show. And I think that's such an enlightened perspective on when it does happen, you better make damn sure you're ready.
You gotta be ready. And I'll say this, James, very quickly. When you separate good from great, because good is nice, but great is better. The gap between good and great is usually in preparation.